I'm delighted to be joined by Dr. Jodie Lowinger and Rachel Clements. Jodie is a doctor of clinical psychology, a renowned high-performance coach and mindset coach to many leadership teams across Australia. She's also a best-selling author and founder and CEO of MindStrength. Rachel's a co-founder and director of psychological services, the Centre for Corporate Health, and an Are You OK ambassador. I'm very lucky to be speaking to them today, and we'll be discussing the current state of play with regard to mental health within the workplace and the important challenges we face as we move beyond the pandemic. Jodie, welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here with you both.
So, Jodie, I'll start with some really big questions, which everyone's thinking about, but you're well positioned to answer them. Mental health is really impacting the workforce every day, and there's a really big health economic burden to that in the order of hundreds of millions of dollars a day. So it's a human priority and a business priority. So what do you think about how it's being managed out there between HR professionals and CEOs? Are they reacting as they should be, or do you feel as though there could be more that's done that's proactive?
I think that there's always more that can be done to be proactive, but I do believe that CEOs and HR professionals and people and culture professionals are doing a really wonderful job in moving into greater awareness around the next level challenges that organizations are experiencing. And it really is on the back of the wonderful work of Are You OK and the mission of not-for-profits of this nature to really drive greater awareness in the workplace. And I love what you said, Pat, that it is a human imperative and, in fact, a business imperative. So in the work that I do as a high-performance coach to CEOs and the C-suite, what I do have the privilege of enabling is CEOs to be a champion in this space and to be really the voice of recognition that mental health is not a bolt-on, but it is core to high performance in the workplace. So we do have a greater move towards awareness, recognizing the challenge as an anxiety expert, recognizing the impact of anxiety in the workplace and how it does undermine our capacity for productivity and performance. But certainly more work is to be done here.
Great, thanks, Jodie. And I mean, as a follow-on question from that, before I move on to practical steps that organizations can take, do you think, I mean, you mentioned that Are You OK and other not-for-profit organizations are really doing a good job in terms of building awareness. Are you sensing that business leadership are putting this on the agenda as a priority on a sort of weekly basis now, or is it something that the leadership just want to go away? What are your thoughts?
Well, I suppose what I get is the self-selected audience of motivated professionals because they bring me on board. And so my perspective, I can certainly talk to the statistics, but in terms of my personal perspective, I'm very busy and that's a really good thing because the more work I do, the more people have lives that are positively transformed through the space that I have the wonderful opportunity to work in. So as a keynote speaker and a high performance coach, there is huge, really elevating take up of the work that I do. And it's across the board from everything. If I talk to what the hot topics are, certainly building mental health and well-being in the workplace, recognizing that anxiety is really the protective instinct at play, but how can we move from anxiety into effective action to really leverage the passion that people have in a high performance context? So really building high performance and thriving in the workplace is what I talk to. But the hot topic is very much about prevention. So what strategies can we put in place to prevent as well as manage anxiety, stress, low mood, and burnout? That's really important. But in order to build high performance and thrive, what we want to do is take it to a deeper level. And so really one of the core topics that I do talk to in keynotes, and it's a very popular topic, is psychological safety in the workplace, and the importance of psychological safety to really enable organizations to know how to authentically lean in to the key message of it's not weak to feel, it's human to feel. And it is, to talk to the magnificent Are You Okay mission, it is okay to not be okay, and to build safety around this. I've done interviews with heads of people and culture across many of our top tier corporates, and the common thread of challenge that they face in wanting to build thriving organizations is that leaders who are oftentimes technically brilliant find having these, let's call it courageous conversations, but let's call it necessary daily conversations. This is their point of challenge, is how to lean in to authenticity and transparency around what we are all in together. And it is the common human experience of finding the uncertainty and the change and the pace of change in our day-to-day work context very tough. So moving out of that into embracing practical strategies, enabling managers to have the conversations and equipping them with the toolkit on how to make a difference in people's lives.
Thanks, Jodie. That's great and very insightful. And I think I'll just pick up on what you just mentioned in terms of practical strategies. So you obviously deal with leadership within organizations routinely. And I can only imagine that as they develop skills that can improve their own capacity to manage mentally, that they can then be empowered to pass them on through an organization. What are, in your view, the key practical initial steps to incrementally changing an organization's mental well-being as a whole?
So the work that I do with my clients is around the Mind Strength methodology, which I've developed to enable high performance and mental health and well-being in the workplace. So that is really what I talk to in my delivery and in a coaching context. But I think what can be very powerful is when CEOs recognize that building high performance is one and the same as a mentally healthy workplace. And, we get these magnificent light bulb moments where leaders embrace these concepts and say, hang on a minute, this is not just about metrics around reducing turnover and reducing absenteeism. This is core to enabling people to put their best foot forward and to take steps out of their comfort zone and to take measured risks and to be in a, if we talk to the neuroscience, be having neurochemicals that facilitate collaboration and connection, as opposed to adrenaline and cortisol and fight or flight, which says, get the hell away from me, or I'm just going to avoid and I'm going to procrastinate. So, the mental health is not a bolt-on. Mental health is core to high performance. So I think that when we have these beautiful CEOs and heads of people and culture that embrace this at a cultural level and at a strategic level to really it's not paying lip service to it, but it is ingraining it in the strategy of a high performance culture. If we look to organizations like Microsoft or Google,